Good evening. We're going to go ahead and start from my left to right, and we have a series of 6 questions, and I'm going to give you an opportunity to pick the number that you would like. So, Mr. Carbone?
I guess I'll take number 2.
Okay, number 2. Should the Southern Nevada Water Authority be allowed to remove water from Nye County under certain circumstances? If so, what would those be?
Well, first of all, I don't want to move any of our water. I think I want to keep all our water here. And if there's a circumstance, I don't know what circumstance it would be, understanding that we need as much water here as we can. If we're going to support businesses to come in here and do work to get our people employed, we can't lose that water. It's got to stay.
Okay, would any of the other candidates like to chime in on that? Mr. Lackey.
Well, if they would like to take away the contaminated water over at Blag Road collapse, I think they should take all of it before we get it into our aquifer.
Anyone else? Donna Cox.
No, they absolutely should not touch our water. In fact, I think that we should take water from Clark.
Our water from Clark County. And you need to go read that law that they passed, because it goes much farther than that. They're not only protecting our water, they're protecting it from you as well. And quite frankly, I think they need to remove that, that law that passed and just work with the state to make sure that our water stays safe.
Ken Searles.
I would like to use some of the contacts that I have garnished in being part of the Central Committee for the Nye Republican Party to try and have legislation passed where no county can plan development at all without considering the limitations of water within their own county and not pull from any other, so that Clark County won't be pulling from Lincoln or anything else. You won't end up having what we have with the San Joaquin Valley when Burbank pulled everything for Los Angeles.
Mr. Hesketh, you...
that it's as close as it is now. We violated a lot of things. Apparently, they went in and changed the original law just so they could put it where it was. And we don't need 3 more in this town.
Darrell Lackey, 30 seconds. Andy Alberti.
Detention center must be spelled Prison. They had a 9.5 mile rule that said they couldn't locate one within 9.5 miles of a residence. They removed it, they put the prison in, they put the rule back. So evidently that rule doesn't really count. It's not a question of should there be a prison anywhere. It should not be near homes because it's unsafe. And for my money, we need to look at what we can do about making some changes there. Thank you.
Ken Searles.
I have a burr up my behind with regards to the detention center as well, but not so much the detention center per se, but the way it was handled. To turn around and waive the ruling with regards to the distance of 9.4 miles and then turn around and put it back is absurd. Let alone the fact that those people who live within the 3 mile limit that they put in there were not apparently notified appropriately. It seems, or it's alleged, that they only pick and chose those people that were living or had property without anybody living on it that were notified. I also own property within that 3 mile distance, received not one word.
Frank Carbone.
I kind of shadow everybody's opinion here as far as the prison concerned. Working with the rest of the commissioners, we will fight to make sure that the prison or detention center, whatever the heck you want to call the damn thing, never happens again in our town.
Your own car anymore. So people need to look into Agenda 21. This is very important.
Mr. Lackey, you have 45 seconds left to actually answer the question which was proposed.
I'm sorry, could you run it by one more time, real quick?
As a Republican, where would you start reducing the size of county government?
Oh, okay. Well, that was a big bite there, Kohlberger. But also, fairy tale dreams about some sort of a water park or something like that. And spending money chasing after things like $500,000 to investigate putting an airport out at the end of Blag Road and Game Bird. Ridiculous things of expenditures, checking up on one person's pet little dream. My pet little dream is honesty and integrity, and I think we can get there. And I still got a yellow go, so I can speed up as I get to the light. There's a lot of places to cut. I can't get into all of them, but they are the crime circles that are in Nye County. That's all I can say at this point. The crime circles in Nye County need to be eliminated. Thank you.
Frank Carbone, 30 seconds on the initial question, please.
There's a lot of places you can cut. Until you understand what our budgets are, what money comes in, and what money goes out, it's really tough to make a decision on where to cut. But you need to work with the people within your purview, the administration, and look at what the things that are in there and how many things we have are duplicated, and remove the duplications. We can piggyback things. We can do a lot of stuff to make the economy better.
Donna Cox.
Yes, to start with, the government needs to be more efficient. There's a lot of ways that they could cut. Right now, they have a lot of waste in all departments. One thing is, I would take everybody's cars away from them and not let them spend the gas driving them home, because then you don't know where they go after that. I think there's a lot of room for wages to be cut. Some of them are extraordinarily high. And I'm very conservative. I can make a nickel go a long ways. For instance, during the convention, I had a choice between a $30 room and a $150 room, and I took the $30 room, and it worked out great.
Andy Alberti.
Since 2001, I've been asking the county for an organization chart so that I can see how they're structured and see how many employees are in each department and how much it costs us. As of today, they still have not published one. The only way to figure out where you could cut is to know where the jobs are and what they're doing. To me, we want to make some cuts. We need to do some savings, but we also need to keep the services that are most important to us. So my first step would be to look at this organization chart, and I can tell you the first chart I ever saw had the commissioners at the top of the chart, and they just had a list of departments under it, and that was it. And a list of departments is the people at the top of the chart. That's you guys.
Garen Hesketh.
I think we need to look at the funding and get some more transparency on the Nuclear Waste Repository Office. Mr. Hollis seems to take a trip to Washington, D.C. every month. It never shows in any expenses in Nye County. The funding is coming from somewhere, and apparently he has an open door into funding out of the Nuclear Weapons Repository Office. You never see what's in those funds. You never see the real things going out. It's all generically rolled up, not very specific. I intend to go in and find out where those funds are going.
Ken Searles.
In my 50 years of career of management and working in pharmacy with drugs, I've worked with agencies that were nonprofit and those that were for profit. I view this county operation as basically nonprofit. They're not intended to make a profit. So I would probably look to see if certain agencies could be privatized. If they can be privatized and the agency is to turn it around and turn a profit, then I think the management would be a little bit more attuned to the areas of waste and see about cutting it there.